Okay, so welcome to the community meeting. So yeah, we're pretty much 99.9% there. It seems everybody's happy about the email. Maybe we can add something more positive at the top that was recommended by Randy. That's basically what we're left with. Oh, there was something that Nick proposed an agenda, I think, right?
Yeah, it's in the community meetings chat.
Okay, I see. So yeah, the first thing is context for the upcoming email, why we're clarifying membership governance and participation structures now. So yeah, maybe we could do that first one. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think if we kind of combine something like why we're doing it with a positive outlook, like so yeah, if you check out your screen, I shared my screen there with the document, that email that we're working on. So um, I guess I think I came up with this, probably with AI or whatever, but we can modify that. So yeah, any thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, let's read through the agenda items real quick, the whole thing.
Okay.
You want to read it or should I read it?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, cool. So the first one is context for the upcoming email, why we're clarifying memberships, governance, and participation structures now. Like, what are we trying to solve? What issue are we solving? Number two is impact of Ecuadorian border zone property restrictions, how changing laws may affect the long-term value and transferability of ownership. So basically, there's a restriction to sell to foreigners in this 50-kilometer border region. We have to talk about that. That's like one of the issues that we're having. Separating ownership from membership, so clarifying the distinction between legal ownership and active community participation. So this is what we've been doing in the past weeks of our meetings. We've been kind of like defining and clarifying what these are. Number four, making membership more valuable. Membership perks such as governance, participation, accommodations / timeshares, shared spaces, retreats, and contribution-based benefits. So the idea there is to, make it more attractive. Like, let's in the forms of credits and like access to things. Number five is contribution credits. So / time bike system, exploring ways members can earn credits and perks through work, volunteering, and stewardship contributions. So basically, that would be a way to put credits to the value, like to the value of the membership. So how to like arrange all of that. And number six, transitioning from trading ownership to membership-based access. So discussing whether future community value exchange should focus more on transferable memberships, participation rights, and access benefits rather than direct property ownership alone. So the idea there is to, instead of trading ownerships, we are able to trade memberships.
What does this mean? Trade ownership, trade membership, like what do you mean?
Well, right now, I guess we can get to that part once we go through all of the agenda, but just to answer it real quick, is because right now we're in a sense restricted from trading our ownership. So it's hard to get new owners, and it's also hard for the current owners to share their ownership. To sell their ownership. So the idea would be to transition to, instead of selling ownerships, we're maybe able to trade in membership. So like instead of attracting new owners, we attract new members.
Okay, and they would live on other owners' land or community land, for example, or things like that.
Yep, possibly. We have to talk about that. Like hear the suggestions and what are the possible ways of doing that.
All right. Was that the whole agenda?
Yes.
Let's get to it then.
Okay.
So Boris, what were you saying? So like for the first point, context for the upcoming email, the why we are clarifying membership governance and participation structures now. Like, what are we trying to solve by this? Like with these meetings, what were we trying? Like, what's the point of all of this? And this is something that came up when Tim was here, and Randy kind of said it too. Is kind of like, well, why are you guys doing this? What's the point for all this? And Tim too is like, well, like I don't really need to do that. He didn't see any advantages in doing that. And I think in this email we could identify the reason we're doing it and explain what problem are we solving. So that also means we need to identify the problem, which comes in the second point of the agenda.
Yeah, so maybe that could be inserted after the second paragraph there that we see on the screen now. Having existing membership structure and governance, and then like then the motivation for doing this.
Okay.
You mean like like the issue?
No, but yeah, you wanted to like in the email like a kind of explain why we're doing this, like what's the reason and what's the benefit, or like what's the motivation. And I was just thinking,
Yeah, exactly.
and then we can try to formulate something and put it in between the second and third paragraph that we are seeing on the screen now in the email.
Okay. So I guess the first question is, so you see the highlighted, now it's in yellow. That's because I put a comment there that it's suggested. So that was this paragraph, I guess, that came up with AI. Is this good, or do you want to modify that? I think that we can connect the 2 points, the two, you want to state the context for the upcoming email, why we're clarifying it, and then also, where was the other one? Why we're clear, yeah, and then also like some excitement that Randy pointed out, like, well, should be something kind of positive about this email. Like, it's not just another boring thing and no one's going to want to do it. It's kind of like politics, there's some people don't like it and they don't care about it, and then other people like it, but it's kind of boring at the same time. So anyway, that's the point. I think that we can maybe combine these two things, like say, well, we are excited, about it, and then yeah, kind of explain why we're doing it. So I guess maybe I think we can go around. Yeah, whoever, three of us or even four if Stefan is around. Say like why we want to do it. So I'll go first. I think that I kind of started this because I'm just excited to do something, because like nothing was happening, and then there were conflicts and all that was happening, um, and now it's kind of like somewhat settled down, it seems, and so we're kind of like moving forward, and that's one way to move forward, is to have regular meetings, and this kind of motivated us to talk about something. And what's that something? It turned out to be the membership states, kind of understanding the difference, because I think, yeah, like we talked about already a lot, but it's kind of hasn't been clearly uh, defined, and kind of hasn't been clear to people, I think, in general. And yeah, anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts. So if we can maybe combine these and make like a paragraph here. You know, we don't want the email to be too long. But yeah, so that I think I would be happy with if you want to roll that into it. But yeah, go ahead if you guys want to say the reasons or what your thoughts on this paragraph.
Yeah, I think this is good, this suggestion you have there. But I also would like to add to it like an acknowledgement of, the issues that have been a little bit, and and that we and that we want to kind of revive the engagement, in the original spirit of what Fruithaven was, or was supposed to be. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Is Stefan, you want to go before me?
I also think it's good. What I would share personally, why I'm excited, it's probably not something for the email, but I want to mention it anyways quickly. So my excitement is behind what I was reading about intentional communities, that around like 80 to 90% fail. And my research showed that it's mostly about human structures. So there are many implicit things and conflicts arising through that. So my excitement is to apply these definitions, ARCOS, that should prevent these things, and seeing it actually working in the future.
Yeah, this would be great to mention also that, I mean, that is kind of the reason we're doing this now also, that we want to clarify the structure and governance so that we can avoid future conflicts also, simply said.
Right, very nice, guys. So yeah, I do like the spirit of collaboration and participating and like collaborating, doing this thing together. It's for the fun of it and for like for the sake of building the community. Of course, that's kind of enough. But I do think for the purpose of the email and for the wider audience of owners and potential members and stuff. Just 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so for basically for the purpose of the email, I think what's important is to identify something that affects everyone, and use like what affects everyone affects us in a way that it's basically we have to restructure in order to be able to deal with it. And us doing this right now is pretty much in line with this. We're answering this issue, and we have basically like we're a solution to the problem we've been having. And the fact that we got together and worked on this stuff together, well, guess what, like we can use this right now to apply it to a problem that we've been facing, that Fruithaven's been facing, and that is the restriction, the new legal restriction that's in Ecuador. And we had no answer to this up until now. And look, by us working together, we luckily have a way to address it.
Oh, so you want to include that in the email? Like, I think it's a bit too, first of all, it's a bit too much information. Like I think we should focus a little bit this email. But the second reason, I think, like the impact of the border zone restriction, I think that it should be sort of separate and like not, combine that because, yeah, I think those are separate topics. Like, I understand, yeah, making the membership more valuable, but it still might be, yeah, it might be good to include in this email. I thought that those agenda items, I thought you meant they're all separate things.
It's not really separate. It's it's related. The reason the way it's related and the way it affects everybody, it's important to everybody. And even if you're not interested in this, like you still have a decision to make, or what are you going to do with this new law, basically. So the people that had their shares in Fruit Haven, out like foreigners that own land here, all of a sudden are in a situation where they cannot sell it to another foreigner. They cannot sell it like they were able to sell it before. By the way, are we recording this?
Started it, yep.
Okay, good. So we were that's our ability to sell is affected, and people that want to buy into Fruit Haven are also, they don't have the same opportunity as before. So that's important. That affects basically the value of ownership at Fruit Haven. And what are we going to do about it? And we actually haven't really even talked as a community about the situation. We haven't sent an email notifying people about it. We kind of alluded to it, and it sort of came up in the proposals for forming SAS and stuff like this, but we never really addressed the fundamental problem. And I think this would be a good chance for us to address it. It's very pragmatic, and we've been working on this thing together that may actually be a solution to this problem. And so, which would be the reason for making membership a thing in the first place. Like, who cares about being a member? It didn't really matter before, and a lot of people still don't think it matters. And like we have to kind of redefine it and make it valuable for people to want it. And to make it valuable, it has to serve a purpose and like fulfill a function. And its function would be to be a solution to this border restriction problem, making ownership shares harder to trade, and therefore membership would actually being a more valuable thing, and that's what we need to focus on.
Okay, so maybe I just misunderstood the agenda item. I think I thought that it was like there was 1, 2, 3, and then, but you're saying you want these points all rolled into the email, kind of all these 6 points.
Well, the important point would be number 4, and that is how to make membership valuable. And like why should people, like, why are we converting everyone to memberships? Like, what's the point of that? And like, what do they get out of being a member? Like, memberships should have perks, should have value, some sort of like advantage of being a member. You have access to infrastructure. You can have maybe like timeshares. You can have like this amount of days of rent free, staying at a community house, or at the pawn hut, or at the up on the FH3 in the community house. There should be like even other owners that who are able to put up their house for membership access, for example. Like these things, we should come up with suggestions for how to make membership more valuable, using at our disposal.
That I agree with for sure. But I'm just not sure if it would be kind of too much. But I guess it is, yeah, important that people kind of be aware of this, because they might not be, of the Ecuadorian border zone thing. But yeah, the perks, I was thinking, well, it's always been, from my knowledge, it's like a discount, so like 10% or whatever. So it wasn't like you'd get anything free necessarily, but you'd get a discount. So I think that's a good way to do it, because unfortunately, there are real world costs to running things, and then if we have like, oh, there's a few days for free, and then it kind of piles up, and there's not enough bills being paid. So my concern about that, because just from what I see, like there's not enough, but we can definitely do, let's say, 10% or whatever kind of discount for even renting tools, things like that. There's always been a discount for owners, so maybe that can become more exclusive to also members, and then maybe even use of the communal space can be very restricted to people that aren't owner, are not members, that are owners, kind of thing. So that could be good as well. Yeah, well, let's see how we can word it.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. Interesting points raised. I think this would also. I also think that this with having like a basically free stuff for the members is not so great, but the a discount is okay, because we can't just have kind of free stuff because we're the ones who are gonna pay for it anyways, in the end. But some discounts, yes, for sure. But also, I wanted to clarify, because this with ownership is about owning your place and having your place, and membership is about being part of the community and building community and having decision rights in the community. So that those are like the perks there. But yeah, this having some discounts for tool rentals and like community house room rentals and stuff like that is definitely okay also, I think. But the thing is, I suppose if you're an owner, um, the way we're going now, I guess it could become like, if you're an owner but not part of the not a member, then you might not even want to pay for maintenance of community area, right? So this is something we haven't talked about. So there are different things coming up there. But yeah, to me, initially it was just about owners having the land, responsible for infrastructure and stuff like that, and having these rights, and then memberships for those who actually want to take part in building the community. But yes, I agree to have some perks there so that owners have a little bit more maybe interest in also being members and being part of that, because then they also have to take part in the kind of community building and decision making processes. So yeah, I don't know if I was clear with this ramblings here now, but yeah, what do you think?
I mean, it sounds good. It's look, it sounds like you guys agree with the perks suggestion. It's just a matter of how to implement it, which is our point number 5, where the suggestion is to use like contribution credits and a time bank system, where we're kind of able to manage this sort of. We're able to attribute credits, for example, for people doing certain work, people contributing certain things, they could be rewarded with some sort of credits that are applicable towards their membership perks, for example. This is something that we should discuss, whether some things are free or some things are discounts. Of course, there's like a whole system to develop there. That's like a big thing to expand on its own, right? And will take like more than one meeting, I'm sure, and a lot of it should be also just like independent work, because it's like quite a system to develop. It's a big task to take, but it would be definitely interesting. Since what is our options right now, right? Like with this restriction, like how do we attract more people here? Like if they can come kind of rent, That's what we could try. Like we could try to do. People have like normal rentals as we had in some normal volunteers, but we're not going to have any more investments, like new investment like before. Basically we're at 40 owners, and if nothing changes, it could stay this way, right? Like it could stay, you're basically locked, unable to sell and unable to buy new land unless you're like a Ecuadorian citizen. So if we're like, we need to address that. We need to be able to do something about this, and in terms of bringing new people to Fruit Haven.
Those are all good points and good things to think about. Just, I think, yeah, there's a lot to think about, and just, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we need to like just finish this step, before going on to the next discussion. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. But if you want to roll it into the email, that's also a good point. We could try that. Sorry to cut you off there.
Do you agree that if we can kind of beef up the membership as something interesting for people to want, do you kind of see like why it makes it like a not just like a minimal viable product, or it actually adds to it being a viable product because it's fulfilling a purpose, it's addressing an issue that everyone's going to have, and this membership, it becomes an interesting thing all of a sudden. It's like, okay, yeah, right. Like my ownership is, I can't trade my ownership, but there is this membership that Fruit Haven has, and maybe that's how I can kind of make value of my land. Because some people, they maybe are not intending to come here, right? And because whatever, right? But they have this slot and they can't sell it. Well, what can they do with it, right? Like they should be able to do something, and this membership might actually solve this um, roadblock.
Yeah, so basically they could lease their lot to someone, uh, in a way, and then that someone could be like a representing that owner then, when it comes to voting, or however they want to do it. And they can be part of they can have a membership and be a full member of the community, even if they're just living on the land or renting it or whatever. I do think the problem is that very few people will want to develop land that they don't own, and the owner can suddenly just say, no, I'm gonna be there now, or I'm gonna rent it to someone else, and all the work and materials you put in is now lost to you. So I think these are some issues regarding that this is a bigger discussion, uh, I think.
Yeah, both good points. Yeah, I like that idea, Nick, and that makes sense. I think that's where we're going with it. So yeah, maybe it's good to include in this email um, that that's one of the things that are making it more interesting. That because we have that restriction, and in the future we could have this membership kind of become tied into ownership. And yeah, also good point, Rob. But if you look at the history, I've met people, and we know our neighbor communities that people don't own, let's say Terra Frutis community, but yet they live there many years, more than I've been here even, and they've developed it and work on it, and so they find a way to do it, and then through the work of contracts, like in Thailand, I think you're familiar. I think you said your father's there. You can't as a foreigner own anything, but you can have a lease for whatever 99 years, or they can decide on what year they want, and they can notarize it, and so that's a workaround of the ownership issue. Oh, hi Mike, welcome to our meeting.
Yeah, nice to see you here, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello. I made it for a few minutes at least.
It's all good. We're kind of in the middle of a few points, but here maybe you guys want to give it a quick summary, just like what is being understood so far.
Yeah, it's quite a bit to sum up, but I don't know how much you know also, Mike. But we are talking and have kind of started creating clarification and more like a formalized system for ownership and membership and governance of Fruit Haven. So this is a suggestion then that we hope that everybody will kind of accept, and that we will have everything more clarified and formalized, and also implement this system of ARCOS where it's like a that would Stefan would explain that better, to anyways to implement this system of governance to avoid conflicts and to make it easier for us to make things happen at Fruit Haven. And of course this is also to revive the spirit in which Fruit Haven was created and was supposed to be, and we want to kind of get going again and do something good after all these conflicts and issues that we have had in the past. Please fill in, you other guys.
Yeah, I can say a few words about ARCOS. So ARCOS stands for Regenerative Community Operating System, and it's about how people live together. In indigenous cultures, it's very deeply ingrained in their culture, how to make decisions, how to live together, how the rules work, everything or nothing needs to be very explicitly written down. So, but in, let's say, the broad Western culture, it's not part of our culture anymore. So we need some framework, some guidance on what we need to define, what we need to think about. And that's what ARCOS is. It's a set of definitions, not the finished definitions, but definitions of what you as a group needs to define in order to prevent conflict and in order to thrive as a community. So that's very roughly what it is.
Sorry, did it cut or what happened?
You didn't hear everything I said? Did I cut something?
I think at the end it cut abruptly.
I heard it, so maybe it was just on Nick's end.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
heard
okay.
everything.
Okay, so and we have started with the clarification and kind of formalizing a bit this with the roles of like owners and members and these things, and we have started writing an email to send out to all the owners now, where we kind of explain this and invite people to participate more, and so that we can move forward more with this. And maybe Boris can go through this email quickly so that Mike can see it also, and then we can continue.
Okay,
Email is pretty nice, and there is solid PDF document with a lot of definitions. So I think we had like maybe 16 meetings that we did, so over a period of more than 2 months now. And so we're at a stage where we are want to send out an email to the rest of the owners where we kind of update on our progress, what have we been doing so far. And here Boris has the email open where we're this is what we have so far.
I see. That looks good.
Yeah, so we're still working on the first kind of introductory paragraph and some other ideas of what to put in there. But so yeah, basically it just talks about, that we've been having these meetings and the time and the date every week and how to join them. All the recordings on the YouTube, it's on a playlist as well. And I think I have the right link for that. Anyway, and then the minutes. So it's basically summaries also. So the different ways to see what's been talked about, and then we're clarifying what already exists. So looking at our community bylaws, which there's FH1 and FH3, pretty much the same. And then we looked at the requirements to become a member. So there's 6 months of residency, completion of a consensus 101 quiz, like watching a video and quiz, request at a community meeting, and then approval through consensus. So these are the requirements. So really, the difference between community member, I guess, and owner. So yeah, this little infographic, if you can see, is that something that's visible? Yeah. And so the current situation, so we have very few, if any, members really that completed this process since the bylaws passed. And so we got, the proposal is to make a transitional membership, so a bridge to becoming a member. So for active members, basically any owners, they would be granted eligible to become a member. So we're basically, making it easier to become a member. So no need to be staying here for 6 months. And in this 1 year, there's a transitional membership proposal for a year. Okay, so yeah. And then there's a governance approach, so existing consensus process and supported by a minimal sociocracy style method, guided by good enough to try, safe enough to proceed. And then the process timeline. Okay, so yeah, usually we have 2 weeks, so 14 days to review. And then we'll assess consensus in line with the bylaws and current decision-making approach. And and then continue having these weekly meetings. And basically links to these documents that we've been working on. So the membership states. So basically we just clarified the different membership states. So there's the applicant, and then there's the trial member. For those that get kind of the first approval, then they have a trial period. So that's for the future memberships, and then the active member and then exited member or external. And the transition as proposed. So we'll actually still include the Consensus 101 video and also include a nonviolent communication video and a quiz. So consensus quiz as well, and then completing the sociocracy video. We might change that. We still haven't got a quiz for that. There's a kind of maintenance of the lot requirement and community budgets. And yeah, and then participation governance. So that is a separate thing. Where is that defined? Oh, it's here. So yeah, that's all we've been working on. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Hey, if you're asking me, I think it looks excellent. I mean, I think it's something that's very much needed, obviously, and I'm glad that you all are working, have put so much work into this. So thanks a lot.
Mike, are you familiar with the Terra Frutis membership system? Do they have that?
Well, there's been a system in place. I wouldn't say it's anything more than really. It's not as formal as you've got here, right? Everything you've got is seems like a nice formal process, and it's going to prevent misunderstandings. So I am familiar, but this I believe is more comprehensive.
Um, Thank you. But what would be like? What is the main like goal of membership at Terra Frutis?
Well, just going off my memory, I'd say that you know the main Terra Frutis, which obviously I don't own property there. I own property in TFPP1. Denise and I do. And so I'm more familiar with TFPP1. But from my understanding, basically, just want to make sure that the people that are attracted to the community are of like mind. So, from my understanding, it's a vegan community, and I believe that they do not want to use chemicals in the growing of the plants. So there's not much structure outside of that, outside of an approval process, right? Because we've always had an approval process at Fruit Haven as well. I know I used to be getting emails and things. So TFPP1, when things started to have trouble in Fruit Haven a year or two ago, or maybe it was 2 years ago now, I actually it might have been longer than that. We all started to meet at TFPP1 because we were concerned about noting some of the reasons why there was trouble. I think the definition of veganism, the requirement for veganism, all these things. So we kind of refined things ourselves in TFPP1, and we just agreed through talking to ourselves, because there's only 5 of us there, I think, that are property owners, even though there's more lots than that, on a framework, and that's what we have today.
Cool. So, but from my understanding, the Terra Frutis members, they don't own land, right? But they kind of live on Terra Frutis property.
I believe that is correct. However, I also believe and have seen that there are lots for sale in Terra Frutis. It's just that no one has bought any of them yet. This is the main part, not TFPP1.
Okay, cool. And do you know, like, is it like a perk system, or is it like do they have fees to pay per month to live at Terra Frutis? How does it work?
That I don't know. I mean, I would just say let's take a look at the website, and Charlotte and Cedric are the ones that are really there, and I've been there. It seems like almost since the very beginning, so they would be the people to ask about that.
Okay, got you. So basically, Fruit Haven also has a membership system, right? And I imagine it was probably some sort of we must have been started at Terra Frutis, and they must have continued it here as well. But basically, as you can see, Boris shared like this huge document with what we've been doing the last 16 weeks, and it has all the definitions and all the explanations of what are the intentions, but also what we had currently. So basically, it shows our past system, what we kind of everyone agreed to through consensus, and then we're kind of proposing what to do with it. And we've done that, and now we have this email proposal that we want to send to the rest of the owners, explaining, giving an update of what's been done. And we're at this point where we kind of, based on the criticism of a few members that chimed in, sorry, not members, participants in the community meeting. So, for example, Tim mentioned something, and Randy as well, kind of what are you guys doing this for? And well, where's the exciting news? How about something exciting like collaborations on podcasts, or he was saying what fruits do you guys have? Something exciting. So this is where we're at. We want to basically explain why we're doing this, and for what. And our proposal is to grant all owners at Fruit Haven a membership. And what in the past, what we had, what is our current system is that we have trustees / owners, but we don't have any members, although we have that role on paper, that state we have it defined on paper, but we just don't have anyone doing it. So our proposal would be basically to make owners members. And the suggestion right now that we had on today's agenda item is to make the membership more interesting and make it more valuable by having by it having some sort of perks. And the reason we want to make it valuable is because we in my opinion, we're in need of a restructure at Fruit Haven. And the reason we need a restructure is because of the new Ecuadorian law that restricts property sales. And that basically limits us as a community from being able to get new members and also to trade the shares that we currently have. So basically we're stuck. So the idea is my suggestion is to use these membership as a new way of functioning in the community. So instead of attracting people to be owners, we attract people to be members.
Yeah, I think that's excellent. I mean, actually, let me give you a few comments on my thoughts from what you just said. Number one is, I think from my point of view, I think, like I said, we reacted in TFPP1 when we saw what happened a couple of years ago in Fruit Haven by doing kind of what you're doing now. We didn't do as comprehensive of an overview like you're doing now, which I think is excellent, and we probably need to do it too. We just want to make sure we agreed on some core principles, like why we're even gathering together, like that we're vegan, for instance, and that we're there for health. That we kind of clarified all those things, which is excellent. We're happy that we did that. We wish would have done even more like you're doing. Now, let me also let you know a little update too, and I know, Boris, I think you know about this. There's a group that's been kind of doing something similar called Net Positive Village. You may be familiar with them, you may not, I don't know, but I think Boris is somewhat familiar with them. And I was working with them, and I still have. I'm friends with people in Florida, because where we are in Central Florida, we're not too far from this project that they're putting together in Florida, which is somewhat similar to what you're saying. They say they're creating value, and you buy in at this, and because they have all these perks, kind of like what you're saying, then it's going to go up in value, almost like an investment. That's how. But of course, it can't be broadcasted as an investment, because otherwise it would have to go through the SEC, so they can't even publicly advertise. But I wanted to let you know they're there. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that Denise and I have investigated this. We're friends with these people, but ultimately we decided not to buy in to what they're doing in Florida, even though it's close by. And I would think it would be very attractive to be part of that. The problem is, I see a lot of challenges there and things that we don't agree with. Number one, they're not vegan. Number two, they say they're doing the best they can, the best possible this, the best possible that. And I'm like, well, if it's not vegan, it's not the best. I mean, so it's that alone has kept us from doing this. The other thing is their ability to sell shares is what they're doing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it may be something to investigate, and we can go into that in detail in a future meeting if you want.
Yeah. What do you mean by shares?
Well, what I mean is this was a little red flag for us. Let's say we can buy into this Florida project, which is not too far away. And it seems to be people that want to do, like I said, the best. They say the best they can for their health. I know that's not actually an accurate statement, and that's one of the reasons why we're not buying in. But it's a fairly low cost to buy a share. And I think from what I understand, what they get you is a 1/4 acre on this 50-acre parcel that they have. It's a nice 50-acre parcel. Thing is, it only gets you a 1/4 acre. And I know how U.S. laws are in terms of dwelling units and things, and they're going to have to come up with something super creative to get somebody to be able to use a 1/4 acre, especially if you don't have, rights to use electric or a septic system or water source. And they say they're going to be able to figure it out, but they don't know how, and they don't know where to. Like, if I buy a 1/4 acre land, a lot, they don't know where it is. They can't even show me on a map. It's not surveyed for that, if that makes sense. So all these things were reasons why we didn't buy in.
Okay. Well, yeah, like basically, like the problem we have here right now is, let's say anyone that wants to come to Fruit Haven and they kind of like, oh, cool, yeah, I want to be like an owner like these guys. I want to have a lot there. Well, guess what? Like, it's not that easy to buy anymore. It's like, you can do like a promise of sale and like a lease, but there's like um it's not as straightforward as having your name on the title like before. So we're limited by this new law right now. So I don't know, like it would be good to find a new way to attract people, and I'm thinking through timeshares and memberships, and like also like we have an infrastructure. For example, we have a built infrastructure and ability to host retreats. So not even necessarily having people from here doing retreats. It could be we could rent out the infrastructure for retreats.
Yeah, let me comment on that too, because I agree with you, Nick, that there needs to be a new way to structure it. And so that's why I also say I agree that you all are doing this in the right way, because we need to do this at TFPP1 as well. We do. We're just, right now, we haven't done anything, and we need to. And I wanted to kind of put the idea out there that, yeah, this, whatever these net positive village people are doing, it's kind of like that, doing something different. I know we've all talked about what is it, the LLC or the corporation, the structure, as I can't remember, SAS, right? And then I also want to put out the option or opportunity that, Denise and I run 2 nonprofits here that are based in the U.S. And, depending upon the way Ecuadorian laws and how they allow transfers or not, maybe you can just do any entity. I don't know. You all may know more than I do. But if it requires some entity to be approved, I don't know. That's something that, we can potentially get one of our nonprofits registered in Uganda, or not Uganda, sorry, in Ecuador, because we already did this in Uganda and we're operating in Uganda. So we know it's probably something similar in Ecuador, where we can register there, have our mission, and have this as a project that's following that, and then make property transfers relatively easy. But it's going to be a complex process to get to that point, I know.
Yeah, that would be really cool, actually. Also, to something we forgot to mention, that Nikos actually joined. He did like a lot of meetings with us, and he's part of TP
Yeah, TFPP1.
F1,
Yep.
TFPP1. He's part of that, right?
Exactly. TFPP1. Yep.
Yeah, so I think he did maybe at least like eight or 9 meetings with us. So he should be pretty well versed on what we have already. But I mean, if he's been joining our meetings, like, I mean, there's no problem with TFPP1 joining in as well, in my opinion, because this is in the Fruit Haven public group as well, right? And
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
collaborating with
Yeah, I like the collaboration, and yeah, Nico is excellent. I mean, Nico is he recognized right away that the need for us to clarify our own guidelines when things were going down at Fruit Haven a few years ago. So I think we're all motivated, highly motivated.
Nice. And we're collaborating with Stefan, for example. So he's got like a really good system, and he's been really helpful in guiding us on how to structure properly and how to make things transparent and organized.
All right, excellent.
So in my view, this is kind of branching out a little bit from the immediate stuff, this with ownership and whatnot. This is something that we have to investigate further if we should kind of go to this corporation or SAS system where we might be able to trade shares more easily, hopefully. But this, we need to basically involve some lawyers or experts in this area with the buying shares, selling shares, or buying and selling titles or parts of titles within this 50-kilometer zone from Peru. But I think for now we can mention in the email also that this is part of the work, that we are looking forward to finding solutions for buying and selling lots, and also for opening up for simply membership, like having a buying in, paying into the community, a one-time fee, and then of course being part of the maybe maintenance budget. And then you get the right to, for example, together with the rest of the community, stake out like a 1 acre little lot or something where you can build and do your thing. And if you have to go, or if you're kicked out or whatever, then you can sell that share forward and kind of get your money back or something, so that you can feel more safe investing in it. But I think that's a bit of a kind of different discussion when we start getting into it more. But we could mention something about it, I think, in this email. What do you guys think?
Yeah, interesting. And yeah, interesting what Mike said. Thank you for sharing. I didn't look too much into these net positive village, but yeah, something that I didn't like that they're not vegan. They don't want to discuss any diet stuff, but I guess, or ethics, I guess. And yeah, I think it's a good idea to mention something now without going in maybe too many details, just because this one email can kind of become overwhelming with too much information. But yeah, that could become like a reason that we want to work on this and make definitions of memberships, and then we could potentially have members that aren't owners as well.
All right, that sounds great. And hey, hello, Rob. Just want to say hi to you. Haven't seen you in a little while, and it's great to hear your voice.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it's really nice to see you on here now, also in the meeting, and hearing your voice. It's very much welcome. And also, I want to say this. I suppose this could be highly interesting to you also, Mike, because you have the Fruithaven 9 property, and since there are no shares sold there, you don't have to kind of agree with all the previous owners and stuff, but you could potentially set up a system where this can work, on a membership basis, and have a cleaner setup that is less prone to conflicts, for example, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that, and yeah, it's going to be easier because there's less people. And I think what you said there applies to what we did at TFPP1. There's just only 5 people. It didn't take long to get a consensus, and it was smaller because it's when things get bigger, I think, when we have the issues. So like I said, I really appreciate all of you doing this work, because I think it is definitely needed, because there are so many owners there at Fruithaven.
Yeah. One thing though that we should not forget is that Fruithaven is not like a one chunk of, what is it, 45 owners or something, 43, whatever, but it's several small ones. It's 1 and 2 and 3 at least, and 4 also, I guess. With, I don't know which one has the most owners, but we are like 11 at Fruithaven 3, I think, something like that. So and the actual like a decision process does not have to involve all of Fruithaven, but these projects are separated. So this can be implemented in one, and then in two, and then adapted. Maybe one project wants like a different set of kind of bylaws and rules. I know at Fruithaven 3 we have some people who are not vegan now, and instead of them just trying to fight for it and claiming that Fruithaven was never vegan and they were never vegan and that was never the intention, like I don't know how they kind of managed to push that idea, but instead can come to some kind of compromises and a way forward together. And then we are these 11 people to do that instead of the 43, which will be really difficult. So yeah, maybe we can move forward with the email and decide on how to word this, something about that we also want to find a way forward, a path, and figure out how to buy and sell shares, or possibly welcome owners to settle down at Fruithaven without actually buying in on the title, but in some other way. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I think some of the owners, for example, they could benefit from membership. For example, when they come here and they have a lot, let's say, but they, where they're gonna stay while they're building their lot, right? So having a membership that gives you a certain amount of time per year to infrastructure access would be a valuable thing for them to. Membership becomes a valuable thing for them to have.
Yeah, but my view is that ultimately this costs money anyways to maintain and keep this going. So this means that the other owners and members will be paying for these members to be able to stay there. I think the way it's been working now is pretty fair, where anybody, including owners, can come and rent a room at the community house, for example. And yeah, maybe it can be discounted a bit for owners or members, but problem we have is that as soon as people have developed their own lot enough to be able to stay on it, then they don't want to pay anymore to keep the community going, which is of course selfish and kind of counterproductive when it comes to developing the whole project, and getting more members or owners to come and develop. But yeah, I don't know if does this really belong in this email at this stage, at this point now, or should we just try to say that we're looking forward also to move forward, finding ways for buying and selling shares, or for members to be able to settle down at Fruithaven and live there?
Yeah, like the worry I'm hearing is that it will be assumed that they have indefinite, unlimited access to community infrastructure while they're building their lot. Like that's not what I mean. I mean they have like a credit system that they can use, for their benefit. So I don't mean they have indefinite free access to everything that everybody else has to pay for. No, I mean they are also paying for that through their membership. Like memberships is a product that has a fee, has a subscription fee, or has a maintenance fee. So it's worth it to in exchange for that, to give them some kind of credits that they can use for their free stay, for example, X amount of times a year, or it could be also cumulative. And also, while they're going to be here, they're also going to be participating and helping and accumulating other credits that they can also redeem through infrastructure use, that they themselves are also paying for. It's kind of like a circular economy.
Yeah, what I was concerned about regarding that is that funds have been limited, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't get anything like for our memberships, but also if you want to come there and live there, like, or you want to live at the community house while you develop your land and build your own house and stuff, it that is also like a great income for the community area, for the project, for the community. But yeah, it could definitely be discounted, like I said, or if, yeah, I think it might be a bit difficult to take like, okay, every year you have to pay $100, for example, as a membership fee, when you're not even really there. So it basically, you have to pay to be able to decide things, in the community. I don't know if people will approve of that, but definitely when you are a member, that you get some discounted stay in the community area, community houses. I definitely think that, because that is like a free perk basically, and I don't think that people should pay for membership like this, not this kind of membership at least.
Yeah,
But
the discount, I agree.
yeah, but like I said, this is like an extended, like a more deeper, complicated discussion, I think, because you have to really look at it and kind of count the money flow, so to speak, and see how it could work out.
Yeah, the discount, I agree. That's always been the case since I've been around here. That there was a 10% discount for owners, um, and yeah, for staying in. It was always for their respective community area. So you, for example, Rob FH3, you pay the budget there, so of course you get 10% discount if you want to stay in the community area. That's been 100%. I'm FH1, I pay the budget at FH1, so that kind of gets subsidized by owners maybe that aren't here, but they kind of accept that because, well, the idea is they should be here, or they're okay with paying just a little bit less of a rental. There's still money coming in, so it's still accounted for. Everything's okay. It's like 10% is not a huge loss. It's still okay. So yeah, I've kind of did a little chat GPT thing, and I added another 2 paragraphs. Let me know your thoughts on those. Do you want me to read them or just have a look and read them?
Hey, I have something to add here very really quickly about the net positive village, because they use a similar model with perks and adding value. Like I said, they don't call it an investment, but they do what you're saying also. I just wanted to tell you what they have been saying they're doing, or trying to do, because they haven't actually done it. They're saying that they're going to have a health center at each community, and the health center is going to have like a hyperbaric chamber and red light therapy, I believe, and that this will be at cost or no cost, depending upon how they structure it, as a benefit or a perk to being a member, and everyone else, it'll be open to the public, pays the market rate. And they're also going to have a restaurant at every community. And same thing, you can buy the food at cost if you're a member as a perk, or everyone else pays the market rate and is open to the public. So I just want to make sure that you all are aware of that. Maybe you want to investigate that more and see how it might line up with like what you want to do here at Fruit Haven.
So basically, it's almost like a GoFundMe or like a Kickstarter, right? They're promising these services once they get the funding.
I would say that's probably a good way to phrase it. However, I don't know if, I guess promise is the word, because there's no guarantees, right? There's no guarantees this is even going to work, what they're trying to say. And they're collecting lots of money. So that's another thing that got me concerned. In this case with Fruit Haven, there is land, right? People own it. So we have a giant advantage over all that uncertainty that is going on with these other projects.
I mean, if they're able to sell promises, I mean, if they do it, awesome. Like, and good for them. Like, of course, like it's understandable. They probably need some funding to start certain things. So perhaps we can do a combination, a hybrid, where we offer, because we do have stuff to offer. So we do have infrastructure. We have several houses that are already built that are available for stay. So, for example, if someone was to throw a retreat, there's these houses available for to house people. Each house can host 2+ people.
Yes.
There's also trails, activities, gym area, for yoga activities, dancing. There is
Yeah, that's very good. All this is excellent, I'd say. I say that that's what they're doing in Net Positive Village. They're gathering it all together. They're using AI to construct images of these health centers they're going to construct, because they don't even have it, right? Or the restaurant. And just like you're saying, Nick, they're listing all these things that are going to be there and kind of presenting it almost like a brochure of a resort, kind of, if that makes sense.
yeah, exactly, a resort. And it makes sense because you have infrastructure, and there's people, like there's different teachers, yoga Instagrammers, or whatever. They probably want to host retreats. Even we had a few characters like this. What was the girl that stayed at your place, Gem, for example. She's like an Instagram influencer, and she has a decent following, and she can just be like, "Hey, I'm throwing a retreat at this location. Come join me."
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's an excellent idea. Just so you know, she's not vegan anymore. She's decided that shortly after she left Terra Frutis.
no, yeah, I'm aware. I'm not saying to call her and ask her to do this, and of course the condition
Yeah,
would be.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know she's not. A few characters like this actually. But yeah, so yeah, and I think we could even do like a produce slash restaurant store right in front of the bridge. That bridge is a touristic destination, and sitting there at that spot at FH2, taking pictures in front of that bridge, like with that nice view, is actually a really good opportunity. So I think we do have a lot of stuff at our disposal, and what to do with it. So, like, I mean, that would be like the positive, exciting news that Randy was suggesting to us at the last meeting.
Yeah. I think that's definitely needed because when I look at what Net Positive Village is doing, it's basically all hype, right? It's all hype. And just so you understand too how they can do this, what they've done is they've gone out and with their connections that they have, I think it's through through certain events they've met connections, and they said to people, hey, who has land that's underutilized, meaning basically lots of vacant land, or larger parcels with maybe just one dwelling unit on it, who wants to like live with local friends that are of like mind. And that's how they're getting the land. They don't even own the land, somebody else does. And some of these properties may even be in distress, so they're willing to do anything. And that's how they're getting the ability to even do this. And ultimately, they're saying when they raise enough money, they're going to acquire all of the land, right? They'll buy it off of the original owner or something like that. And it'll be its own entity like you all are talking about for Fruit Haven.
Okay, it seems like it's a trend because there is another thing I saw that's just like that. It's called the Vegan Castle, and those guys are in Britain. It's essentially what I saw was a band that did a video for them, and they're saying like, look, we're starting this housing cooperative. They've been actually there 10 years, and they're saying, look, we want to raise funds that we can buy this whole castle from the owner once we have enough funds. So it seems like it's a trend popping up all over it. So maybe it's a good time to hop in.
I think these are really interesting ideas and stuff to talk about. But again, I want to kind of call back to the core of what we're supposed to do now. So, but yeah, this is all great, but maybe this is also more a bit like for development for the future, and really cool things. And I think we should also send out an email later at a later point where we collect all these ideas, and we can have like some kind of idea bank or something that we start working on at Fruit Haven, where people can share maybe also like permaculture techniques and methods and stuff, building, but also these kinds of things, these kinds of ideas, and what we can do. But we must also remember is a huge difference being in Florida, where people can take a flight or a bus or whatever, and being in our at Fruit Haven, where you have to take a flight to Ecuador, another flight, and then a bus for like a 4.5 hours, and then another bus for an hour almost or something, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like
Well,
it's
just
very different.
hey Rob, just so you know, the Net Positive Village has projects in Peru, very close, I think, to where we are in Ecuador, there, Fruit Haven, and also in Central America. And yeah, I understand the location, but just keep in mind they're going to have some incredible challenges trying to develop this property on quarter-acre lots, like they're saying, because it's in the United States. Incredible challenges.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to grow anything of your own on your own lot, basically without it being on community land where anybody can utilize what you're doing and growing, uh, you're gonna need a bit more than a quarter acre. Like a 1 acre at least would be good, I think. But
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, but that could actually be enough. 1 acre, like that's 4,000 square meters, I think. But anyway, so these we are all kind of branching off a bit now. I think it's super interesting, but I would like us also to get back to the email, and we did make some progress on it, and maybe Boris can go through the changes that we have made to this email now here today, and we can see what we think about that, or if we want to add anything in light of what we have been discussing also.
Yeah, so I added these two paragraphs that's on the screen now, if you guys see. And just quick comment about that. Yeah, so basically, I think what the Net Positive Village guys are good at is marketing. So somehow they're able to sell stuff kind of like that's not even theirs and all this kind of stuff. And like, yeah, so they're just good at marketing, good at selling things. So we definitely could use more of that kind of stuff, and this understanding better the marketing, the selling things. But anyway, for what we do have the people here, so just yeah, get back to this email. So the idea of adding this point about the perks. So what's the reason? So becoming an active member is also intended to create clear participation, responsibility, and benefits within the community. Some proposed benefits for active members may include things such as discounted rent in community spaces, reduced rates for tool or equipment use, and greater participation in governance, collaboration projects. These details are being refined together as part of. Well, yeah. So this just came up with the thing. We may change this because, um, but yeah, maybe it's okay. I mean, I think that those benefits already include that, but anyway. The second paragraph was another important reason for developing a clear membership structure is the recent Ecuadorian border zone land restrictions affecting foreign ownership since 2025. So correct me if I'm wrong there, Nick. I think that was the year, but a more functional membership pathway would allow people who are not property owners to still meaningfully participate, contribute, live within the community, and become more involved in Fruit Haven's long-term development and governance. So that's that. And then the two paragraphs here, I already kind of removed the highlight, but maybe we could still say, is this good? And then so we want to clarify Fruit Haven's structure and governance so we can reduce future conflicts, move beyond past misunderstandings and tensions, and continue building a healthier culture of regular community meetings and collaborative decision making. We are excited about the future of Fruit Haven and warmly welcome new community members, co-owners, and volunteers who feel inspired to help bring this vision to life through meaningful projects such as road maintenance, food forest development, natural building, and many other improvements that support the growth of our thriving tropical community. So yeah, those four. So if those are good, or if you want to modify or add others, maybe something else, like we kind of have like little. Yeah, go ahead.
This what you last went through there, this tropical thriving community. I think this will not hit home with a lot of the owners because it is not a thriving community now, in their view at least. And I mean, I would say it's not, but support the growth of our community, or tropical community. And I don't know, what does it say? Many other.
That, so that's a good point. Like maybe it's gonna stir up some controversy, like, oh, is it thriving? Is it not thriving? Blah blah blah. So rather than getting hung up on these words, let's just remove that. So growth of our,
Yeah.
should we keep
And
tropical? We are tropical, so that makes sense.
yes, can we add this like the growth of our tropical community and making it thrive, or make it thrive might be the correct sentence.
Like that. That's good with me. How's that with the others?
Can you go to the second paragraph? The one that's yeah, all the way on the top.
You mean where I'm at now, or the ones before?
Right here is good. 1 second.
I just want to say, now we have added more text again to the email, but I think it is okay. It's good because it's bringing in this kind of a bit of padding, a bit of fluff, and intention, and good feeling about it. So I think that's it's not just more details to try to understand, but it's like a contributing to this a bit, like what Randy was talking about, giving a good feeling about it.
Yeah, maybe kind of. It's still important to have it as a good marketing and good, because people might not like it if it's just pure information, not so interesting, not so relevant, but it is relevant. So we're showing, and I think, yeah, this good information. Like maybe a lot of people don't actually know this Ecuadorian border zone land restriction thing, so that could be good.
Let's do something about the discounted rent and discount and reduced rates for tool or equipment. That sounds a little bit like not fun. It's like, man, discount, okay. It could be even just like adding the word significant discount would make a difference, or changing it to discount slash
exclusive.
or exclusive discount. No, well, I mean, without making it too marketing, kind of like saying something like timeshares, credits.
Nobody likes that word.
Now nobody likes timeshare.
Personally, I think this is pretty good. Discounted rent in community spaces, but we can remove this reduced, just discounted rent in community spaces, rates for tool equipment. Yeah. Great participation in governance and collaborative projects. I think this is
The discounted, the word is not good for like in terms of like desirability. Like VIP rates, sounds way better. It's kind of like, ooh, attractive. But discounted is like meh, whatever.
But okay, so such
Sounds
as
cheap and nothing.
membership rates for rent of community housing, tools.
like the idea in memberships, the membership itself will be profitable. It's not gonna like, oh, we're not like losing by with these discounts at all. We're actually gaining a lot. Like first of all, the place is getting used, then it's being maintained at the same time. It's also there's also members themselves giving value by participating in credit oriented rewards, for example. So all of that is going to bring value, and they're paying membership fees.
Yeah, but that's the thing also, like what would the membership fee be? And that we haven't even talked about yet. So we are kind of with this, we are I think we should not get into too much detail because these are things that needs to be ironed out later.
Hey, I wanted to mention too that that's a good point, Rob. And from what I see, the way Net Positive Village is handling those things is they're not talking about them, and that's another reason why Denise and I decided not to move forward with that.
Can you repeat what are they not talking about?
Well, it seems like there would be many costs, and the costs, like Rob was mentioning, ongoing fees and things. Everything's going to have a price to it, right? To be able to have these amenities and perks. It seems that way to me, anyway.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, yeah, we try to be transparent. We have the price lists and whatever else.
Yeah, so normally in a membership, you expect something in return. For example, I'm a member of the union here, and many people, they don't really understand the importance of the union or how it works. So they are just looking at it as a like a transaction, you know. Okay, I pay this member fee. What do I get? Do I get this and this and this value in cheaper insurances and whatnot? But the thing is, that is, then you have a membership in an organization that then becomes a greater mass of people, and by that gaining more negotiation power when buying external services and whatnot. But that we don't have here. Like everything we are having, we have to pay for ourselves. So that's why I'm thinking that be a bit careful with this membership fee, and then you get all these benefits. But yeah, but we have to pay for it anyways, so that we don't get lost in this, oh, we pay this and then we get all the free stuff, but the free stuff we are going to have to pay for anyways, you know. So yeah, so we don't get caught up in that, because that's one of the kind of ruses or scams that Peter was trying to pull with the dump truck, for example. Oh, you're an owner, then you get this much free use, but there is no free use. And he knew that only he and a very few more other owners would actually be able to utilize that free use. So he did it for himself, you know, to benefit. But so in Fruithaven, I don't know if that is like a good thing like that. If you all guys, if you all kind of get what I mean.
Agree. We don't want to sell too much. You know, it's like, oh, free this, free that, and then someone might abuse the system. So it should be fair to everybody. And yeah, that's a good point, like what Peter did. But I do remember, for example, the excavator. I don't know if you were a part of that, but he didn't give me a discount. I was like, well, I'm an excavator owner, and he's like, no, I can't because like we have to pay the bills and whatever. So he wouldn't give me a discount on using the excavator, for example. But you know, as an owner, which of the excavator at that time. But in any case, we should definitely give some discount, but not too much, and then yeah, sell it as a good thing. But it's like it's okay, you know, Nick. If people don't like it and they think it's not a good deal for them, they won't be a member. That's fine, you know.
Hey, these are
But
good points. I just wanted to quickly mention that they use the terminology at cost. Like if you're a member, for you, it's at cost. For everybody else, it's the market rate.
That's actually a good idea to use that terminology. I just don't know what would be the cost of the rent. Like, well, we just have arbitrary price that we're trying to get some money back. So it's like, well, we could give a discount, but if you think that's a nice way to put it, or maybe for the tools or whatever else, yeah. What do you guys
Yeah, I
think? The
think
rest?
it's more for services like these health services or the food you get at the restaurant, not necessarily for rent. What I've seen them say is just for comparison to give us ideas is that the benefit of buying into this community is that you can rent your property out and make an income. That's what they're saying in terms of rent.
That's a good idea. So maybe members get exclusive rights to like list their property or whatever, and then other people maybe can't list their property for rent or whatever. That's an idea. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an idea. Yep.
I like the word at cost as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think that's cool for certain things and services, for sure. The problem would just be to figure out what the cost actually is. It can be a bit tricky, but these are also details. But but no, for this paragraph, I still want to say that I would like it to be include such things as membership rates for renting community spaces, tools, for renting community spaces and tools, for example.
Not reduced, like membership rate. Exclusive membership rate,
I think this is fine. I think this is fine. Membership rate. It doesn't have to involve more like a kind of exclusive.
No, we need to sell it, man. We need to sell it. It has to sound good.
Of course, it depends on personality and stuff, but to me, it just looks at this kind of salesman language, which turns me off always. But
we are trying to sell though.
Yeah, but a membership rate is a lower rate, and so
we're trying to be exclusive in our memberships.
yeah, to me it just sounds like, what exclusive? Are we trying to be fancy or something, or are we trying to like really sell this and be like it's a bit like manipulative in a way.
I'm okay with removing it. I don't know. Either way is fine. Special membership. We could say special, maybe special membership rates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's okay. Is that okay with you, Nick?
Yeah, no, look, it's fine. I'm not opposed to it. It's just, it's not always like about like how you perceive it. It's how it's perceived in general, right? So like, for example, if somebody tells you, oh, do you want this regular jackfruit or do you want this nice, juicy, succulent jackfruit? Which one are you going to go for?
Exclusive red jackfruit.
Yeah, I know that when people say, oh, this amazing, fantastic, exclusive, super juicy, I know they're talking shit, and might be something to it, but yeah, they're
how do you know? It's an assumption. You don't really know. What if it is really good? They said it and it's really good, and you're like, wow, okay. Well, they walk the talk.
Yeah, but experience through, of course, it can be, but in this case, I don't know. Like, I think a more moderated and language that comes across maybe more honest or whatever, but still like a factual and tempered. Because I'm also thinking about the people who want to disapprove, the people who want to misinterpret will take any and every opportunity to read it negatively.
Yeah, I think this is a good point. I think balance is needed, like in all things, balance is needed. That's the best way to go. Now, let me just also reiterate that one of the reasons why Denise and I did not decide to purchase a share from Net Positive Village is because of the language that they used. They said, this is the best possible this, the best possible that. Everything we're doing is the best possible. And then I realized they're not even vegan, you know? I, this isn't, I know it's not a truthful statement. So I'm with you, Rob. And the balance, like in all things, the balance point is what we want. So we're successful as well.
Yeah, and we're not selling this to other people. We're just selling it within, all the owners, whatever.
Yeah, and also I want to say it's to me like I think it's important to remember we're not trying to put out some super juicy, attractive sales pitch here that 0.1% of the people reading it might kind of take the bait, but we try to approach consensus. We're really trying to kind of make it into something that all the owners can accept and feel is a good thing. Also, yeah.
The other thing, guys, is the capacity of us to actually implement these things, because like keep in mind it's the core is like us that have been showing up like consistently all these weeks, and like what have we been able to accomplish together. So like Stefan was super helpful with like putting things down, Boris as well, writing things like translating what we're talking about and putting it on paper. That's very good. So like it gives us material to stand on. And the thing is, are we going to be able to implement this and continue doing this, and then have some people join, and because they don't see any other solutions anyways, right? Like some people like will be like, okay, well, what else am I going to do with my property? I can't sell it. Like we are really like the only connection to what's happening at Fruit Haven anyway. So like we're essentially offering these people and the Fruit Haven community um, an ability to actually do something, and like a sense of like direction and some hope, like, okay, your investment is not lost. This is like, look, we're doing something, and this, you can do this. So for us to say that it's a favorable membership rate, or like make it like pumper it up, like make it sound nicer than just like a regular discounted rate. It's like it's not lying or anything. It's saying the truth, right? Like it's a favorable membership rate. It's exclusive, like you're special because you're a member, so you get a special member rate.
I think that choice of word is perfect. Instead of special, favorable membership rate. Like yeah, is a benefit. You get something more for being a member. And favorable is very positive.
All right. I'm glad you like that word. Um, so, what about the second paragraph?
Yeah. So to me, this comes across as a little bit of like a statement. This is what we're gonna develop, but in actuality, we're gonna have to investigate this. We're gonna have to research this and what we can do. But so we, yeah, yeah. I don't know how to word it, but maybe this is okay, and then we just hope that we can. Well, in any case, a membership where you can just live on the land and be there, that we will be able to do, definitely. So I guess it's honest and it's okay like this also.
Would it be accurate to say, like, for example, do you understand it? My question is this, would you understand it this way, that this Ecuadorian law limits new investment into the Ecovillage?
Yeah, but we might want to rewrite it like Ecuadorian border zone land restrictions limiting change of ownership to foreigners. No, wait, not there. Like the land restriction, instead of affecting, put limiting.
It's outright preventing. So, for example, if
Yeah.
you go into to do the land title transfer like before, they will ask you for the permission. Do you have
Yeah.
the permission? Unless you have that permission, you cannot do it.
Yeah. So, but it's not outright preventing it. It is limiting. You need the permission,
Which is not guaranteed.
of course not. But it is not like but now we're getting like a double statement here in this sentence.
Okay, so yeah, let me see. So okay, I changed it. So yeah, it's preventing foreign ownership.
It's not preventing
Well,
foreign
actually, I should say new
change of ownership. Yeah.
new foreign ownership, so that it's clear. Like we're keeping. Maybe I should put this into the AI and get some more
But
clarity.
also I really want limiting instead of preventing, because it's not a like a dead stop. Like we need to investigate this and see how difficult it will be to get this permission and that stuff. And it hasn't been tried yet, so we don't really know. And if we can present ourselves as responsible, sober, you know, contributors to the local community and stuff, then maybe it will not be such a big problem for us. It will cost a bit of money, maybe, but maybe it will be okay. So that's why I wanted the limiting instead of preventing. Preventing sounds so definitively like a stop.
That I did explore this thing quite extensively, and I do have a really good idea of what's possible and what's not. And preventing is a good word, you know. And for example, some of the solutions that come to mind, like for example, forming SAS, they're like an extra step. They're not. You're still facing the same issue of the SAS ownership will have to be Ecuadorian as well. So that thing has already been explored. Then the possibility of passing the inspection, that one remains. That's a gamble. That's a gamble. Then the other stuff that I heard is possible. That like I'm not really sure that I can talk about it in at least in the public. And yeah, so no, it's pretty annoying. I gotta tell you, preventing is a good word. Save yourself some time, you know. But unless you want us to have this sort of like to buy time for us to explore more, of course it's possible. But it's been over a year.
Yeah, I hear you. So we can leave this, but we haven't tried it yet. Like of course, maybe I'm overly like positive and naive with this, but hopefully we can find a way to make it work anyways, since we clearly are not drug dealers or miners or wanting to exploit the land in any way.
Well, it might be other military concerns also, but anyway, okay, so I put it through with some updates. So here's a second version of it. See, it still says affecting, even though I put it in. So it says existing foreign owners remain unaffected. However, these restrictions limit the ability for new foreign investors or co-owners to purchase shares from current owners or acquire nearby land for expansion. A stronger non-ownership membership pathway would allow people.
The important part there, Boris, is it's not that it's not affecting the current owners, is that it's freezing the current owners. So the current new owners cannot buy and old owners cannot sell.
Well, I guess my point, what I put in the prompt, I was trying to say that like that current owners are fine in terms of like, because people might read it and misinterpret it like, oh, does that mean we lost our investment? Like we need to say no, this is your property still, but you just can't sell it to foreigners, basically. Maybe we should just put it simply and not kind of overcomplicate it.
Yes, existing foreign owners uh, uh, cannot easily sell to other foreign owners.
Okay, well, I don't know, maybe, yeah. Which version do you like? I think this version might still be better.
Yeah, remove the for word and just existing foreign owners. Cannot sell
To foreigners.
or to non-Ecuadorians. I don't know.
It's spelled right now. Okay. Well, that could be something just. This is almost like a separate announcement. Even this paragraph.
Yeah.
If someone reads it and they don't know, they're gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah. No, I think that's fine. And this is also like a less complicated lingo, is more like a clear and easy to understand.
Prompt it, use high school language.
Nice. Good idea.
Yes, that I yeah, might look better, but I think this is good now.
Okay, give me a longer. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll put it below just so we could compare it. It still uses that limit, even though I put preventing new foreign buyers from buying. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Prevents.
I still think the paragraph we have above there is better.
Yeah, maybe so. What do you think, Nick? You see a difference here?
One second. Can you highlight, please? It could start with this paragraph. Like, it's a pretty major announcement, there is a kind of a sense of urgency with this. Do you guys think it's better as a second paragraph? Like, oh, and by the way, another reason is we can't buy or sell land anymore.
You mean to put it at the top of the email? Is that what you meant?
Well, maybe sort of saying, hey, we've been meeting, we've been trying to trying to make sense of our structure, and we've done some work, and that is because we have some like serious issues to address, and and then you put this paragraph.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It might like a down prioritize some of the things we talked about earlier about things we want early in the email. But first of all, I think this second GPT generated paragraph is not as good as the one we have there. I think it's good what we have there. But yeah, maybe it could be moved up to the top of the email. We can try that and see how that looks.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a good point that it is important and stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess it wasn't like our main goal, but maybe this would. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you guys think. So let's see. So then we would have to change this because it's not another important reason. Well, I guess it could be. Let's see. What do we have up there? So the first excitement and then kind of like, but I don't know. We probably need to rewrite this part.
Yeah, what does it say in the two first paragraphs? Maybe just instead of another is like an important reason for developing. Can you scroll up so we see the whole first paragraph there?
Oh, yeah, I thought you logged into the thing. An important reason.
Maybe remove so we can reduce future conflicts, and not as the first thing.
Or different wording, maybe.
Maybe take the second paragraph and put it first, and then it will flow pretty
Okay.
really, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes some sense.
How about we want to wait? Where did it go?
And sorry, and then we can, instead of an important reason, like another important reason, you can put the another back there now, I think.
Okay. Did I move it too quickly for Nick?
Yeah, no problem. So how about this? We want to help clarify Fruit Haven's structure and governance, so we can address Ecuador's evolving policies.
But I think it's like there is good stuff there like this, so that we can reduce future conflicts, move beyond past misunderstandings and tensions, and continue building a healthier culture of regular community meetings and collaborative decision making. I think that's good. And then also another important reason for developing a clearer membership structure, the law changes. I think that's okay.
May I ask what it means? Like what you mean by conflicts, misunderstandings, and tensions?
I mean, there's been plenty, so I'm sure everybody has like a little bit their own ideas about that, but there's been plenty. So I think it's not wrong. I think it's good to acknowledge that there has been. So it's not like we're just pretending that everything has always been nice and dandy.
Yeah, we know we've had many conflicts. It's not news.
Yeah, okay, it's true. It's true. But is what we're working on really going to prevent conflicts and misunderstand? Like, it will prevent misunderstandings because things are defined. But I mean, there'll still be misunderstandings. Like, there's like, it's pretty like dense information here, and it definitely needs more than high school than to understand it.
Well, that's why we're saying it's reduce the conflicts. It's not like we'll remove. It's impossible. We're humans. Humans are humaning.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I mean, there will still be conflicts. It's just like we'll have these definitions to help us resolve it. But do we want to make that as like the primary thing of, like, I mean, it's social struggles for sure. They're going to be present. I mean, I wouldn't put it on the fourth, like
I think
as a
that
first thing.
reduce is a good. I don't know. Yeah, I like it. I think Rob is keen on keeping it because I think that's the first goal. Is like, okay, reduce the future conflicts, move beyond the past misunderstandings, and continue building a healthier culture of regular community meetings and collaborative decision making. And then another important reason that's kind of like secondary, but yet it's right at the top of the email. So it does, yeah, make sense that this is important. And then, yeah, so this law thing that come to effect, it's not, this is the not the main and only reason, but it's definitely an important reason. I
So,
like
what if
it.
we make it like a positive phrase and we say something like, we want to help clarify Fruit Haven's structure and governance to help build a healthy culture and address Ecuador's evolving policy?
I think that's going to become too long of a paragraph kind of in one.
Well,
Hey, I get an idea. I got an idea to kind of borrow off of what they're saying at Net Positive Village. How about the best possible culture? Not to say that best possible is their language. We use it all the time too with our nonprofit. We want the best. We want people to do the best for their health. So maybe just phrase it like that.
Yeah, the idea is to keep it positive, and it wouldn't be longer because we're removing reduce future conflicts, move beyond past misunderstandings and tensions, and instead, like, we're saying to help build the best possible culture. So we're just kind of saying, yeah, we want to build a healthy culture, best possible healthy culture, and address Ecuador's changes.
Saying you want to
Hey,
remove the.
sorry, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Nick, and I think you're onto something. And at the same time, I think this paragraph about the law changes and stuff, it 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 doesn't hurt, I think, to have it clear like that it is now, and get all that in there, and not shorten that more. I think that's really like a good stuff that it communicates there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that paragraph just before that, before kind of it gives segue into that explanation of Ecuador's changing policies. That next paragraph, absolutely, it needs to be pretty as detailed as dense as possible.
How about this? We want to help clarify Fruit Haven's structure and governance so that we can build a healthier culture and the healthier and best possible culture of to to avoid future conflicts and move beyond past misunderstandings and tensions. Maybe that's not the best either. I don't know.
Well, what does it mean to build the best possible culture?
I think we're
It-
just using the
It's positive, right? It's like a positive thing where we want to kind of get along. We want to build a community, a cooperative community. Says it's pretty elegant, I find. And that other there, the reduce conflicts and move beyond past misunderstandings. I mean, I guess but I just to me it seems a little bit unnecessary, and it's more. It's not even. It doesn't seem neutral to me. It seems to be like it's kind of more negative. It's saying like, oh look, we're in the negativity and we're like moving out of it. Okay, like I don't know.
Yeah, like I said before, I think it is important to acknowledge that there has been trouble, and to not kind of pretend that there hasn't been. Um, but one can definitely look at the um, wording of this.
the best possible one is kind of like what the net positive village or whatever is talking about. I think it's kind of a marketing thing. I mean, what is the best possible? It's not really explaining it. Healthier makes sense.
Yeah, to me, this best possible can be removed, I think. I actually think this is plenty good enough to move on.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good to have the reduced future conflicts. Like it's not, you can't possibly imply that like, yeah, we're acknowledging there's been past misunderstandings and tension. Like we can't, just shove them under the rug. It's happened. We have to acknowledge it.
But it's like two negatives, one after the other, like reduce past or future conflicts and move beyond misunderstandings and tensions. That's like a lot of, we don't need all of those. Like, I think one of them, reduce future conflicts, is enough, or move move beyond past some misunderstandings. That's enough, I think. One of them is enough.
Yeah, to me, these comes across as positives actually, and because reducing conflict is positive, and moving beyond past misunderstanding is also like a positive, but it's an honest acknowledgement of what has been, because there's been a lot of conflict and misunderstandings and tensions and whatnot. So I really think it's okay like this, and I don't think people will um, interpret this negative, but those who want to be pooping on this and kind of be negative, if there is not enough acknowledgement of problems that have been, they might kind of be irritated by that. So I really I think this is okay.
Okay, and so this is all internal. What about the external, which is Ecuador's policy?
What do you mean? I mean, is right there another important reason for developing and blah blah blah. I think that's good also, because it communicates what I think needs to be communicated about that, but it doesn't like uh, it's not too much. It's just enough. Mike, uh, what do you think about these things? You're coming in, like a more fresh than we are with this.
About that. From my opinion, this letter should serve two purposes, and I think that you all are like so we need to be forward, trans.
It's really cutting
But at the same time, it's not a.
Can you other guys hear him
Go ahead.
well? I cannot.
No, it's too choppy. I couldn't make out anything.
Okay, maybe in a bad area. Does it sound better now?
A little better.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm driving and I'm going in between mobile towers. So I think that serves two purposes. One is to inform everyone that's already, obviously, everyone's already here. It's all internal. So we have to be straightforward, honest, transparent, which I believe it is. And then at the same time, it's not a marketing piece, so we don't need to overhype anything, but we should rally everyone. I think it should also try to serve a purpose to rally everyone that, hey, we're on this new trajectory and it's going to be, excellent. And we all just want to work together and kind of have that vibe to it as well.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's a bit in line with what Randy said also last meeting, and I think that we have that now. Or what do you say, Mike? Are you do you think that we have that now? That this is like a good new kind of positive direction feeling?
Yeah, I do. I do see that it's positive, in a positive direction, and it's as close to that as it can be, I'd say. And I'd say that, like you mentioned, or Randy mentioned, I think that the only thing that might be adding to it, and maybe this is not the time, maybe the second and third email will be the time, would be to kind of more rally people, not necessarily anything other than just building camaraderie, right? And remembering our core reason for all being here is that we want something that is the best that can be done. And that we have gathered these minds here together and, we're almost there. So I think that maybe not now, because I don't want to have to revisit everything, because everything I've heard and seen sounds good. Sounds very good. I'm just thinking for maybe the next email, the second and third email.
Okay, so um, yeah, I think that sounds good. Um, and I'm definitely this kind of perfectionist. We can continue hashing about different words and stuff, but for me, this is good enough to try and continue. Uh, it, Nick might have something to say about that, but if it's good enough, then maybe we can move on. So, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's true we are hyper focusing on small details. So over the past six, so let's see what's the next paragraph after the Ecuador law.
Thing, I guess, Nick, you might know. So I was asking, I don't know if you could see on the screen there, is the year seem correct? I thought it was like 2025. Or do we just not need, I don't know. It's up to you. What do you think?
Yeah, it's when was it? February. Yeah, February 2025.
Okay, you think that's relevant? Should I put February or just 2025 or?
I mean, yeah, 2025 is fine. It's like right at the beginning of 2025.
Yeah, we don't need more details on that.
Okay, sounds good. Should we? Okay. I'm kind of preferring 1 day a week, but we did kind of intense 2 days a week with the Thursdays and Sundays, but Do you have a preference, like which one's better? I think we initially said Thursday, and we used to do that Thursday a long time ago. So maybe remove the Sunday part.
I must say, I think that having this 2 times per week now has been a great benefit because there is so much to get through that doing one meeting per week, it would take like half a year, you know. And I think maybe it's good to continue with that until we don't have to be this intensive. And also it gives like different days, so maybe different people will have the opportunity to participate.
Yeah, I was gonna say more opportunity. Like last Sunday we skipped it. Sometimes maybe a Thursday gets skipped. Okay, so that's fine. So we can carry on that. So the only part maybe, so this we all kind of looked through already a bunch of times. I think the only part then to correct is this one. So the benefits, maybe it is good to keep like two to twice high school version and the later, I don't know. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Remove it. I think remove it.
Okay, so does that mean the benefits part, because it is good to mention that that is a potential benefit to have the membership other than like, well, existing owners, maybe they get discounts, blah, 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 favorable membership rates.
Sorry, that's cool. Is was this another reason for creating a clear? That's what I meant. That is highlighted there. You can remove that unless someone protests.
During Nick, do you think is useful to mention it again in this high school version later on, or just kind of leave it at the top and that's that?
You know what? I think this is something. What we can do is we can use it as homework. We can. I mean, I don't mind taking these and redoing them a few times and then putting them together and then showing the different versions for next time.
Okay,
You mean
if you want to do that,
did you mean another email you meant, or I didn't understand?
I think you meant this paragraph. This about another reason for creating clearer membership structure. Maybe the other one also becoming an active member.
Yeah, because the flow is important. And for was saying another reason is like I don't like that. I want to try a few different um, phrasings.
What's the
Yeah, but do you want to keep this because this the highlighted paragraph here now is a repetition of what we have at the top. And do you want this repetition?
Wait, why do we have that?
Yeah, exactly.
was-
Now we're like at the bottom of the email basically. So this is just the AI version that is still sitting here now after we copied the other version we have and put it at the top. So this highlighted in yellow here now, we already have it just with fewer words and I think actually more easy to understand. So,
Yeah, we don't need this no more. Sorry.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's basically the main difference, just this and what's at the top. So yeah, hopefully this it's probably one of the longest emails I've ever worked on myself. I don't know about you guys, but oh, you know what I was thinking? An honorable mention somewhere for people that joined, like Randy and Nicholas and Mike, because it says like
That's a great idea. Hey, where's this document, by the way?
Yes, I just wanted to say I approve of this. Like we've been meeting, but then also maybe here add these names like Mike, Carl Johan was there, Randy, Nicolau.
So I've been meeting. No, how should I word it? Okay, so Rob have been meeting as well. How do you spell his name? Like this? You have to go check.
Yeah, Carl with the C and then Johan, Nicolaus.
Oh, J-H. Okay. This? No. Still got it wrong. Ah, okay. I know that spelling. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you don't actually use this name so much in the US or in English.
Yeah, it's pretty rare in this. Nicholas, Randy, Mike, Young. Was it like spelled? Yeah. Okay. Good. I think that's pretty much who joined, right? There was like random people once in a while, but they didn't talk. Yeah. So do you find it, Nick? It's pinned at the. If you go to the community meet, it should be pinned. You know how to find the pin at the top of the. So you go to the community meetings, click on pinned message, and then the first link is the docs, and then the second link is the Miro, which we haven't really used a whole lot, but narrated is cool image with it.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Welcome.
I missed something now, but a connection.
Oh yeah, I was just telling him how to find that document. But anyway, it's been one of the longest meetings yet, so I think we can wrap up. And I don't know, is it ready to send? I would say it's ready.
I say it's good enough. Go for it. I don't feel like we have to kind of hammer at this anymore.
All right. Yeah, it's good. It's basically we gave it some purpose. You know what I mean? Like we're facing a real issue, and we're working towards a solution. That's the important thing. Right now, there's like there's a like why are we doing this? And this is the question that was on everyone's mind when they would kind of like join the meetings. It's like, okay, well, what are you accomplishing with this? And now we have a good reason.
Yeah, congratulations. Thanks so much for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we hope that you will be able to join us for more of these meetings.
Yeah, I'd love to. I've just had too much going on recently, and I think I'm in more of a balance point here where I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen.
Hey, your suggestions, Mike, were very helpful. Like you gave us some good ideas for and made us aware of what else is going on in the world that's applicable to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so basically it's good enough to try, safe enough to proceed with this email, yeah?
Absolutely, I think so. The only question is that we haven't discussed much. Will we follow this 14-day review period, or is that a bit short for something this comprehensive and serious? What do you think?
I think we don't necessarily make like a decision right away. It just says the proposal follows the 14-day review period. So we kind of review it for that time, and then we sense the consensus. If there's something coming up, if someone has some major issue and they want to join us and they say like why is not safe to proceed, why it's not good enough to try, then we can always kind of say, okay, it's more time. Now, yeah, if people can read it, like I don't know how many pages this email turns out to be. It doesn't really say in the thing, but 5 pages, yeah. So it is kind of big, but I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I just have this question. If you scroll down again, is up a little bit there. is there a line between this process and timeline and whether you agree, disagree? Because that we could remove, I think. So that is like a one paragraph.
No, it just shows these extra lines when there's a page break, but it's not actually like a line in the email.
Okay, great.
Something I am concerned about is the part where we are just converting all owners to members, like, because the point before was to get people, involved and without like any hindrances or anything like this. But that was because like we're kind of just like offering membership without any kind of real reason for it. But now that there is a reason for it, and we are thinking of making membership with perks and fees as well, it becomes more of a product and more valuable to just sort of like give to someone, um, and at the same time, if there are fees, if we do decide on fees afterwards, and like how would that involve like these 40 memberships that we just gave away, for nothing?
Well, that's why we have like the requirement that they pay the budget. Like the requirements are in this document, right? So if they don't pay the budget, then they're not going to be a member getting like a special rate or whatever.
I know
No,
we've been doing this for a really long time, like 2 hours 40 minutes, but I have a quick question. And can we maybe give a number off the top of our head for the value of a membership per year? Like, what do you think would be like a fair price? Just like a nice round number that you think is fair per year. And another one is, how many days of like a timeshare would be comfortable to offer with that fee at the same time? So kind of like with that fee is like gives some amount of perk, and it could be like a number of days for timeshare, like 5 days per year, $400 or something like this. That's like kind of what I'm thinking off the top of my head.
To me, this is making it way too complicated now. Like this will all come in the future in that case. But for now, because all the owners, they have been members, so to speak. They have been, having the influence and stuff, and they haven't had, been forced to pay for that. And I don't even know if the regular membership for an owner should have a fee. But I think this is something that needs to be discussed and later on in the process, when and not at this point. But this 1 year transition period, everybody, all the owners are members, and then we take it from there. And it's not like they're getting a lot of free stuff for nothing. They would get a bit of discount on the rent, for example. So that's okay. We're not like the communities are not going to lose money on that. But
Yeah, I agree. And it's also eligible current owners. So there's owners, for example, didn't pay the budget, they're not eligible. That's already stated in the proposal, right?
Well, I think this email is suggestions of what we're thinking of doing anyways. So we're kind of updating the community of what we're thinking of doing. So we're thinking of converting all the owners to members, but the details
Well,
of that
again,
still to be discussed.
just
Is
to
that correct?
just to clarify again, this is only for eligible owners. So, for example, an owner that did not pay the budget in the last 3 years, maybe let's say, or 2 years, or whatever, we said they have paid it every year for the last 3 years. So if they skipped a year, we might potentially give them an opportunity to fix it. But if they haven't paid, then they don't get a membership. So therefore, it's not going to be 40. Yeah, we're going to review the 40 people, but first of all, they're not all eligible. That's the first thing. Second thing, I agree with Rob. Yeah, I'm not gonna necessarily agree to give away free timeshare, whatever. Maybe you want to do it, that's fine. Like you can do it for FH2 if you can agree on that there, and but I don't think I'm gonna do that here at FH1. And we can have like the reduced special rate or whatever. And then for owners, they're already paying the budget, therefore they paid. So I don't think they need to have a fee because we're already paying the budget. So we don't need a yearly fee because we have a yearly budget. Now for members in the future that are not owners, yeah, definitely they're going to have some fee. But what that is, it's going to become clear later on. So yeah, I don't think there's much to discuss in this email or to even until future meetings once we get past this first stage.
Okay, so basically, so then we are in agreement that these are suggestions and the details of this is to be discussed. So do we have a disclaimer like this, that these are like the things that we're kind of suggesting, thinking about
Yeah.
suggesting, but
Well,
they're
okay. So
subject to change?
the main word is proposal. So that's what makes it a suggestion. It's a proposal. So there's no way we can make a decision without everybody. And then we have the governance approach. So we explain how we make decisions. It's already existing consensus process. The work in progress part, it does say it's somewhere, at least one time. Yeah, like here it says it's details to be refined together as part of the ongoing process. So that's one place it says it. It might say it elsewhere too, like here. No, I don't know, maybe. So yeah, so it definitely states that at least one time.
Can I say something? Now I'm hammering more at this, but this with the paying the community budget for the last 3 years. If there is someone who has not been paying for 3 years and they want to like a join and be an active member now, that's a great thing. Maybe this can be lowered to 2 years so that it's a little bit less of a threshold to get over and a bit less money to pay in, but it will still benefit the community a lot, because otherwise they would not be paying for these years at all. But what do you
Yeah,
think about?
yeah, it's a good idea. The only thing what's not fair is that the people that have been paying consistently every year, and then uh you know and then the other people are like forgiven for not paying. Like, so maybe it could be sort of the people that have been paying consistently, they could be given like a credit for one of the years, for example, right? So like a situation at FH2 is nobody's been paying except for me, and the Malcolm, I guess. So in our case, like maybe we could be given a break for future budgets. So that could maybe apply also to FH3 and FH1 as well.
Well,
Yeah,
in that case, I
sorry.
think those people just wouldn't be eligible. Sorry to go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, sorry. I think I hear you, Nick, and I kind of I really agree. Like then they would be like the people who have been paying would be basically having to pay more than these other people. But at the same time, like I don't see what, oh, they haven't paid as much, so they should be made to pay. Like it's a bit like a punishment in a way. But in reality, if they pay for the last 2 years that they haven't paid for and wouldn't have paid for, except for this proposal, and now they want to become active again, then even you who paid the past 3 years or and more, 5 years, um, you will actually benefit from these people paying for the last 2 years instead of nothing at all. So I'm kind of thinking that forgiving this might be okay, and
Yeah,
this
that's a good
definitely
idea.
affects me also at Fruithaven 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean, like giving them an opportunity to pay for the last 2 years or something. Well, it should be at least three is what we wrote. So I wrote this additional comment, that's a proposal, like they can pay for previous years if they want to correct it. So like if they, it should be maybe obvious, but if they haven't paid in the last 3 years and then they want to now become a member to get the perks, so they can pay it, but everything should be explicit, as we know, so everything should be defined well. So but anyway, I think we can leave those details for later. Like, that doesn't say anything in the email, it just points to this link, and we 2 times we say that if you want to work on it, you can join us at the top and also at the bottom. So
So my proposal here was to lower it from 3 years to 2 years. But if you guys don't agree, then I will just kind of buy that. But I do think that lowering this threshold, might not be so bad. It might be make it easier for people to feel like, okay, I will just pay for the past 2 years then, and then I'm up to date, and all is good.
yeah, I'm not totally against it. I think first we have to see if there is a response, if somebody does offer something. That's the first thing. And then, yeah, we can modify it. And then also, I was thinking we could also potentially have, well, maybe it's part of the fragmentation thing, but you could have, let's say, a certain rule for FH3, like, okay, maybe it's 2 years there, maybe it's 3 years at FH1 or something. But yeah, those details can be refined later. I think that the bottom line, we're ready to email. Should I just go ahead and like send it out?
I think it's okay to send this out. And also, just with what you just said, uh, like different rules for FH3 and stuff like this, all this, it goes out to everybody, but I don't know if I see this happening to FH3 now, but it might be applied with FH1 and 2, for example. I don't know. And if it works out and if it seems good, then I think if we can show that this is great, then maybe we will be able to adopt it at Fruithaven 3 also. But maybe I'm just being kind of negative now and not believing in FH3 with regard to this. But I see it more as we do this, and if you at 1 and 2 can apply it and we get it working and kind of get it fully developed, then we can take the fully developed version and modify maybe bylaws and whatnot, or rules for FH3 so that it can be adopted there also. That's kind of how I see this hopefully developing.
Yeah, look, I like the reducing and the eligibility and stuff like this, but I do think we should still note the people that have been actually paying, and then kind of have, when we do talk about the time bank and the credit system, we'll compensate these people this way, through that system over there. So at least, even though the break was given to the people that haven't paid, and they have this eligibility and chances to make up for it, the people that have been consistently supportive and paying and doing their part, they are not forgotten. So when we're going to talk about the time bank and the credit system for the membership, this is where we will be able to focus. The other part I wanted to mention is about the last thing you said about FH1 applying at FH2 and FH3. The thing is, I wouldn't worry so much about it, because right now we can just go ahead and apply it, because essentially we're using the Fruithaven name and the website and the socials that are available to us to kind of market and advertise ourselves. Like, look, we're having these developments. This is the opportunities within Fruithaven right now, and it's available to the people that are members of the Fruithaven vision and mission. So whether you're FH3, FH1, and FH2, I mean, I don't see how it changes anything if you're using the Fruit Haven platform in the first place. So, like, for example, the Fruit Haven, some of the Fruit Haven 3 people express themselves, oh, we'll just separate and it doesn't matter. But, at the same time, they're using the platforms, right? They're taking the residents volunteers that we get through the Fruit Haven platforms. You know what I mean? So like they can't on one hand say, oh, I'm not gonna, we're not part of it, but then at the same time benefit from and accept the benefits from being part of the Fruit Haven Eco Village.
Yeah, many great points there. Absolutely. And I mean, they are already in the kind of the process and have started making logo types and different names, this Serenidad they have been talking about. I haven't received an email about it, so there is no decision yet, but they're talking about that. But you're right, then that will make it difficult, of course, to be part of the Fruit Haven website and stuff. So all that needs to be discussed. But yeah, uh, we just do this for Fruit Haven 1 and 2 now, to begin with, and then we'll see how it kind of develops. But yeah, to acknowledge the people that have been paying into the budgets consistently, and differentiate that somehow, I think is definitely cool. But it would happen in the future, like maybe not so much now. That would be a lot of details at this stage. But yeah, so are we finished with this meeting and we agree on sending out this email?
Oh yeah, and also it's gonna be sent to the blind carbon copy, right?
Yeah, I think that's great. Nick?
Um, I mean, I am kind of curious to see the replies that would be possible with regular CC, but the email does specify already that we'll be sending BCC to avoid email fatigue. But I can say that I'm not curious to hear other people's input, and like
Well,
if we're not
if they reply,
allowing CC,
if
yeah,
they reply, they could still reply to the Fruit Haven email, so you can see it.
yeah, okay, so maybe
Put that
encourage.
in the
Let's encourage response, nonetheless.
Should we
Let's
put
encourage
that
people to
in the email?
reply.
Sorry, should we put that in the email that replies to the email will go to the Fruit Haven email and like a read and taken into account at next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, which part would that be, at the bottom or?
Yeah, I think so. Or if the one at the top and the bottom are exactly the same, then put it in both.
I mean, I think it's good to send this. I mean, it's pretty. We've covered all the bases. Let's just send it, and it nonetheless just like an update and suggestions. Nonetheless, something I did want to reply from something from before about the fees for membership and the time shares and the perks. So just to put it in perspective, cost of a room, like the lowest cost of a room, let's assume it's like discounted or it's like a fee for a volunteer, is $100 for the month. I think we raised it to be more, if I'm not mistaken. Boris, you may correct me, but if let's say if we go with the figure of $100 as like the best possible rate, that is a month of rent. That's like a month of usership. So let's say we have that like once a year from someone for one room. That is basically the minimum amount you get for a room, assuming that it's that we're at full capacity. So $100 membership fee to put it in perspective, a year, like think about what would be fair to offer for that membership fee as a perk. Like how many days of free rental would be fair? Or other things that are not free rental could also be, credits for space time, land space time use. So, for example, you can use a chunk of land to grow, a crop for a certain amount of seasons. That's one example. Space, like community area space, with rooms and kitchen space to use for a retreat, for example. That's another one. That's another system. That's like a much bigger value because you're using the whole community area with several rooms and the infrastructure available there. So those are like different tiers of perks available that we should be thinking about.
Yeah, I think these things can definitely be something to think about. But like I said before, also like for the future, because at this point, owners will just be members for the next year, and during that time, we will be able to kind of sort these things out and how we want to organize it, and of course there might be differences between non-owner members and owner members, for example, and yeah, all these perks and discount systems and whatnot. So, but that gets real complicated real fast. So I don't think that's anything for now or even the nearest future before we have like a governance system where we can discuss these things.
Yeah, I think you were asking about the rates, but kind of, yeah, anyway, the email was sent, so you should be receiving it soon. What was the rate? Yeah, I think it was either 100 a month or 200 or yeah, whatever people are willing to pay that makes sense in this area. And then also like we have other benefits, but what was the other? But anyway, I think it's it's been long enough. Let's call it a day. You guys, yeah, could try again next Sunday. Sounds good.
Yes, absolutely. Sunday. And I just received the email, and at least on the computer screen, it does not look overwhelming, this email. It's not like a, million pages or anything. Feels completely okay. I haven't read it on the phone, but I will. But yeah, it looks good. I'm really happy with this. And I appreciate you guys for discussing and like reaching so much agreement, and we managed to get this done. Even if there's a lot of talking, a lot of time spent on it, I think we're getting some good results, and I really appreciate that.
Nice, thank you. Likewise. Yeah, it's definitely the longest email I've ever worked on, officially crowned.
Yeah, I received the email too. Thanks so much, guys.
All right, everybody, have a nice day. I'm gonna go to bed. Take care and see you hopefully on Sunday.
Likewise, I'm not going to bed, but thank you for the meeting. Good stuff. The email looks good as well, and I'll see you next Sunday. I'll be available. Ciao, ciao.
Nice. Thanks, everybody.
Ciao.